podcast with Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is season 6, episode 16, episode number 241. How is it going?
It goes.
Good.
Awesome. So this is our much hyped up episode where we talk about Halloween. I use air quotes, actually. Halloween movies.
And Colleen, I have a special surprise for you on that front.
Ooh, what?
Mm-hmm.
I have watched about 40 minutes of Double Toilet Trouble.
No way! Yes!
That's the Olsen twin one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I am so not even ever going to watch it that I couldn't remember what it was. Don't tell Colleen.
The reason that I remembered it is because I've been saying forever that I need to start listening to our episodes more regularly, but I have a hard time listening myself, whatever. But I finished Ted Lasso, and so I wanted to go back and listen to your guys' discussion when I had checked out last week. And so it was a wonderful discussion, and I'm glad that I listened to that part. But because I was listening to that episode, then Colleen mentioned the Olsen twin movies, and I was like, okay, and I looked it up. And I could have sworn that it said it was 33 minutes long. So I was like, sweet, I will have just enough time when I get home from work to watch that. And then so I usually have 30 to 40 minutes before we record. Perfect. So I rent it on Apple TV, start watching it, realize it's actually an hour and 33 minutes. So, but I did see about 40 minutes of it.
Will you finish it before next week?
I'll try to finish. Well, at first, I was like, am I ever going to finish this if we're talking about our Halloween movies today? But again, I'll finish it.
We can talk about it next week. You already paid for it.
$2.99.
Yeah, they're seriously invested.
I am. Which I feel like is a fair price because honestly, the
quality.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. You can tell that it's old. Very old. Yeah.
And it's not on the list, the hot list of restoration, restoring it for young kids to watch now.
Right. It's not going into the Criterion collection
No, not anytime soon. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to hear that.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to the song yet, but
I don't know if the song is in that one because the song is in their building, their Olsen mystery.
Been gypped.
I don't know.
I thought that was why I was watching this.
No, that's in their TV series. They had a lot back in the day. However, Lizzie Olsen is in it. There's their little sister, because she is their little sister. Elizabeth Olsen. She plays Lizzie. Elizabeth Olsen is Wanda from WandaVision.
Cool.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Not that made any difference. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. I'm going to stop.
So their little sister is in their Halloween movie.
She's in all their stuff.
Oh shit!
She has small little bit roles as their annoying little sister in most of their stuff.
Is that how she got into acting?
I think so. But then she grew up to be really good at it.
Right. Then she turned out to be the actual actor in the family.
Probably because she put the care and the work into it.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, which makes me like her even more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I cannot wait to talk about the rest of the movies in a second. But first, congratulations to Tasia on her wedding this weekend.
Oh, your dress was absolutely beautiful. I've been loving Instagram stalking.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So pretty.
Yeah, you looked gorgeous. Kayla did a great job on all the makeup. Shandy, you looked absolutely beautiful, too. I loved how you did your hair.
Yes, very pretty.
You. I did not do my hair. We had hair and makeup as options, and so I opted in for both. But the stylist did a really wonderful job, and it's too bad because the pictures you don't see the back, but the back was really, really great.
Ooh, what was it? What did they do to the back?
Well, so it was like a mostly down, but half up sort of thing, and she did a really good job, sort of curling it and making it. Can't really describe it.
Swept and.
Yeah, it looked very layered and textured and nice.
Awesome.
So,
very cool.
Nothing that I could ever do myself.
That's the best. And I feel like when you're in someone's wedding, it's very hit or miss. You're either I love how I look, or you're I am here supporting you on your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tasia did good because it was all sort of up to us. And even the bridesmaids' dresses, the color was blue and the dress style was long, but that was it. Like other than that, everyone could sort of pick. So there were like different shades of blue. There were all different styles of dresses that like looked enough like a similar style to like go together, but like to actually fit each different person. So it was really fun to see everyone's different dress. Kayla did an awesome job on the makeup. She was a makeup machine. I mean, same with the hair too. It was just like all morning and then all afternoon, actually. They just worked nonstop. But I wore fake eyelashes for the first time, which was also really fun.
They are
Don't you
fun.
like want to wear them all the time now?
Right?
Yeah, kind of. Like I might buy some and have to ask Kayla for what glue it was that she used and the whole process. It's kind of insane that somebody else put them on me because that's like my eyeballs, but also I wouldn't know how to put them on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they like full strips or were they just like the little pieces that get like put in there?
Yeah, because like
full
they
strips. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, like if you have thin eyelashes, they'll put like little ones to like supplement.
Yeah, and they use like tweezers, and it's like I don't know how they stick them in there, but they just like they do, and they just like beep 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 beep.
Ooh, just it was a full eyelash thing, but then like blended into my eyelashes with the mascara. It was like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister does the fake eyelashes for weddings and stuff. I think that it looks really pretty. So
yeah, it's super fun, and like I have very eyelashes. Small eyes and very small short eyelashes. So like that's even like there have been times where like where I like won't wear makeup at all, and there have been phases where like the only thing that I did wear was mascara because of very small eyes and very short eyelashes. So I feel like this was kind of pretty perfect. So it was fun. The venue was great. There was this great exhibit that wasn't there when Tasia originally booked the venue because that was pre-COVID when she first planned this wedding.
Right.
So the exhibits had changed a little bit, but it was so fucking cool. Like it was like basically this kind of like light show with these strings of lights in this big room. And it kind of went with this like music and it would, change and like start small and build up. And there are all these different colors and stuff. So afterwards we went up there and like everyone was sort of obsessed and then everyone was taking pictures up there. It was super cool, but it was a great ceremony, short and sweet, which I super like love and appreciate.
Yes.
Because it's like such an important day, but also if the wedding ceremony is really long, then it's like you do the thing and then you have fun. So it was
get to the free booze and the free food.
So that was fun. And then it was really cool because since Kayla did the makeup, she like stayed for the wedding also. So that was really cool. The food was good. We had one of the meats was brisket. It was so good.
Ooh, it sounds tasty.
Yeah. And they had cupcakes for dessert, which I fucking love that too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me a good cake, but cupcakes at a wedding I think is a solid plan as well. And so it was really fun. We danced, we laughed, we took funny pictures. It was a really good time. So yes, congrats to Tasia and Mason. And yeah, that's done. It was a long time coming.
Yeah.
A long time in the making.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So happy for you. Yay.
Yeah.
And today's Jamie Jo's birthday. So happy birthday, Jamie.
Happy birthday, Jamie.
Oh, next week is our live Halloween Zoom episode. Same Zoom link as always. I'll post it on the things. You need to wear your costume. Just saying. I got my costume mainly banged out on my break today. 45 minutes. I went into Goodwill, and then I went into Plato's Closet, and then I came out with there's this pair of red Jessica Simpson high heels that it's like it's not patent leather, but that red patent leather color, but like when they're in like shoe, like like that plasticky shoe material or whatever. I'm not sure of it. They had those at like Belk for the longest time for like years and years, and I always wanted them, but was always like, I'm not paying that much for these. Well, I found them when I walked into Plato's Closet, and I was like, oh my god, they're here and they're in my size.
Nice.
So then
Was this for the Halloween costume, or is this like a separate, like, hooray, a bargain?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be for the Halloween costume, and then I ended up changing my costume slightly to match with the shoes.
Oh.
Ooh.
Now, remind me, is your costume a surprise, or do we know what your costume is?
We don't know what my costume is, but these hoop earrings that I also got at the register at Plato's Closet are for my costume next week. They are a hint. What character wears hoop earrings? I also got a leopard print mini skirt, a fur jacket, and a giant dark blonde ponytail extension.
Got it.
I know it.
Got it.
Yes.
Nice.
Whoever wants to shout it out. Yeah. Mainly because Jay's been practicing his Roy Kent accent, and he really...
So, like, growling?
Yeah, he's been practicing. He just walks around and be like, oi! And fuck.
Okay, so related to that, I have 2 questions now that we've all finished Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
2 questions for you all.
Okay.
First of all, does anyone know what that actor's voice really sounds like? Because he doesn't actually talk like that, right?
No.
I mean, I love it, but
It's
like
a
that
higher-
can't be natural.
Yeah,
it's a higher pitched version of that, yeah.
Yeah, he actually sounds quite pleasant in real life. I watched an interview with him on Seth Meyers. He had the actors on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I watched the Jimmy Kimmel one.
Okay.
I might have to Google it because I'm very intrigued now. I mean, I love his voice, but
Don't you love the character of Roy?
Yeah.
so much. And that leads into my second question, which is not like Roy specific, but do British people really go around just yelling "oi" at people? Like,
Depends on what part, where you're from.
but that's something you can really say to people. I kind of love that. And
Yeah.
also, like,
I think it's like their version of like, hey.
"oi."
At the very least, it's like me going around being like, dude.
Yes.
Roy's version of dude.
But it's "oi." I feel like that's like it's taking me back to some weird, like, I don't know, stereotype or just like thing that you think is fictional and then realize that it's not. I don't know, like a fairy tale kind of like vision of the Brits
I feel like
going around saying "oi."
I feel like the Brits probably have a similar affinity to like y'all.
Okay.
Do Americans really just go around saying y'all?
But at least it makes like, well, I'm sure they both make linguistic sense. It's just that I understand the linguistics more of y'all because it's you all, plural yous, like makes sense. I don't know where the "oi" comes from.
It's probably like meh, like you assign your own meaning to it.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you.
"Oi!"
Oi!
It's not even just Roy who says "oi." It's everyone.
I know. Did you like the Jamie Tart character development by the end?
Loved it.
Oh my god.
Love Jamie Tart.
How much does like a Manchester accent just like make your brain hurt?
No offense to anybody from Manchester that might be listening.
It's just such a weird dialect.
I know.
But delightful.
Yeah.
I would say.
I told Jay that I didn't know if I was going to be able to do a Keeley accent because there's just no way. Like, I'm just bad at accents. It's not my thing.
But hers is like kind of closer to like a true Cockney.
I know. He's been having me practice like stupid My Fair Lady phrases, and I'm like, no.
The rain in Spain.
Exactly. I'm the rain in Spain. I say I can't even do it. I can't. Whatever. I got 10 days. I'll be fine. It's all good.
And then you gotta try to like move your mouth like hers, where her like lip is sometimes under her teeth. It's like very cute.
Yeah.
Just like a very particular face.
A very particular face.
Anyway.
Don't you wish
In a
that could
good
be
way.
said of all of us?
Anyway,
Everyone.
I was stoked. I might do I'm gonna find a shirt to go under it, but for our live show next week, I might put the jersey on with the fur over it. I found the hair extensions.
like that.
The problem was I couldn't do like blonde because my hair is very black, but I found one that's like a dark brown, light brown, dark blonde, and it was only $10 on Amazon. So really, it could go either way. It might fall apart after I try it on, but we'll see. Like the earrings were $5, the extensions were $10. I was like, this is great.
Nice.
And
you're
I love
already
the
wearing
shoes.
the earrings. Like, you're getting multiple uses out of them.
Oh, I know. Just like my RBG earrings that I wear, like multiple times a week now still. They're like my favorite earrings.
Nice.
Yeah. I used to rock hoops like this growing up. I actually have a pair that's looks exactly like this, but I think it's like actual like gold and not whatever cheap plastic this shit is. But I only have one, and I was looking for the other one over the weekend because I was like, well, I've got the one. The other one has to be somewhere, and I couldn't find it. And then these were at the register, and I was like, this is perfect. I'm not even gonna, I'm not gonna waste any more
Not like
time.
one big hoop and one like stud earring. It's like a look only certain people can pull off.
Yeah. Keely hasn't
Well,
tried
maybe
it
if
yet.
you're in the Lost Boys, you can pull it off.
Oh, yeah, which we're going to talk about in a second. So, or we could just start talking about now. Speaking of Halloween movies, woo!
Halloween movies, let's dive on
Halloween,
in.
air quotes, meaning movies involving the supernatural and or the supernatural.
Something you want to watch in the month of October.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we all watched Muppet Haunted Mansion, so you want to start there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or should I not bury the lead and talk about how I watched Hocus Pocus finally?
Well, and we
can
did
start
get
with
some
that.
lengthy feedback about that as well. Just
About Hocus Pocus?
yes, that made my not lengthy, just one little thing of feedback that made my eyebrows go back into my skull.
So what do you want, Muppets or Hocus Pocus?
Let's start with Hocus Pocus.
All right.
Classic. It's like the quintessential Halloween movie.
Yes.
I don't care whatever Matt says later. I'm going to stay by that statement.
And I don't care what Colleen is about to say. I stand with you, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I watched Hocus Pocus for the first time through, and I texted my family as I was a few minutes in, was like, hey, Caitlin, I'm finally watching Hocus Pocus. I gotta, hold on, let me pull up the conversation. 1 second, because this was so mind-blowing. All right, so the following exchange took place. Finally watching Hocus Pocus. Caitlin, do you remember when I got so scared during the first scene that I made Grandpa take us home? Caitlin responds, Colleen, I ran out of the theater. I was like, no, I thought I did. She goes, that's how scared I was, and Grandpa followed me out. And I was like, that was you? I always remembered that I was too scared. She goes, no, it was the cat thing I'll never forget. And I was like, I'm so confused right now. I remember being scared of them being burned at the stake. And she was like, maybe I left first and then you did too, but I know I literally ran out. So, and I was like, oh my God, I've been telling this story for years that I was scared of the first scene. And she goes, so have I. We probably both freaked out and we'll never know who bolted first.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Damn.
These are a bunch of scaredy cats.
Seriously. I have, to this day, I still cannot, remember her recollection of events. I remember being scared and wanting to leave.
Well, at least
And she remembers being
no one's
scared.
enjoyment of the movie got interrupted.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly. Anyway, so I finally watched it. And I have to say, it's probably one of those movies that you remember fonder than it is. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I thought it was kind of dumb. But I also didn't hate it.
What? Disagree. So Daniel had also never seen Hocus Pocus, and we watched it together. And he had a very opposite reaction. He's like, this is actually very good storytelling. He's like, he was going into it expecting to not like it, I think. And he was like, this is actually really good. So I don't think you had to watch it as a kid to appreciate it.
I like that take.
I think what it was is I went in there expecting the sisters to end up being misunderstood and not be bad guys. So when they were bad guys the whole time, it totally blew my perception of the movie.
Okay, but they're bad guys the whole time, but who can sing? And are funny.
That's true. That's very true. But they are making a sequel.
What?
They're making a sequel.
Not sure how much I like that.
Yeah, why? Why do we keep doing this? Wasn't the Sex and the City reboot enough? Good God.
I know. Sarah Jessica Parker's just reliving all the old hits.
She's like, I don't want to do anything new. Just bring me my old characters.
I mean,
And we'll just dust it off. She's like, I'll fit back in the costume. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Right, I look the exact same. A payday's a payday's a payday.
Right, but also they got turned to dust.
Yeah.
Like, how are they going to make another movie? Are they going to reanimate the dust?
Maybe.
Sorry, spoiler alerts, guys.
You're supposing. You're hypothesizing.
That said, I did not like it, and if it was on, like, I would watch it again and whatnot. But
And
I don't
like
know
it
if I
more
would
probably
seek
the
it.
second time.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe.
I would think so.
I don't know if I would seek it out, like, on my own. But I'm so glad that I watched it, and this new mystery has arisen from the ashes of the sisters, which McAllister's sister ran out of the theater first.
No,
My
that
mind
in
is
and of
still
itself
blown.
is worth it, but yeah.
And
I mean, it has everything. And so again, like to your point about, okay, maybe it is better if you watch it as a child. I will say for me, there were just like all these boxes that it checked off when I was a kid. Like, okay, there are witches in it. There's like an old spooky house with a spell book with an eye that has like a hardcore like lock thing. There's a black cat who can talk.
Who can't talk, yeah.
There's
very trend-setting.
a teenage heartthrob with that very 90s like
Bowl cut.
bowl cut that
Yep.
we all loved so much back in the day.
Thora Birch. Any great 90s movie had Thora Birch in
Oh,
it.
that's right. You're right. Like, any
James
great
Thora
90s
Birch.
movie.
Danny.
Danny. Yeah, that's
She was also
right.
in Monkey Business and Now and Then.
And American
Now and
Pie.
Then.
No,
she
not
was
American
on-
Pie. American Beauty.
Beauty.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you Google Thora
that's
Birch,
right.
she's like everywhere. She
Yeah.
was.
All good 90s
She was
movies.
great. Zabos. We had
Yabos.
Yabos. My bad.
Which apparently was not a word that existed before the movie.
Oh, really?
Look, they
Yeah,
They
Daniel and I had a
created
lengthy
something.
conversation about this. So here's my theory, that the script probably said something else, and like you're dealing with child actors who are saying, and particularly in that movie, there's a lot of lines that I'm sure that a young Thora Birch probably didn't really know what she was saying.
Yeah.
So probably there was something in the script that was different, and she was just like, I don't know what that means, and she probably thought it was a fake word and came up with another fake word that was comparable.
That's hilarious.
That's
I had
great.
That
no
was my
idea.
theory.
That's
Ah.
great. I like it. I like your theory.
Yeah.
No, but there's everything. There's oh my god, like there's music, singing, like the scene where they're at the party. I mean, there's Madonna. You know, the Madonna costume. the
Oh,
mom's
yeah,
Madonna
that's- yeah,
costume
yeah.
Was
It's a
great.
great costume.
And then when they sing at that party, that was great.
Wait, what song
There's
do they sing
French
again?
in it.
There
I
is
put a
French.
spell on you.
I put a spell on you. Thank you.
Yeah, that French cassette tape in like the high school when they go into the kiln. That's great. I particularly like when, like at the very end, when they're leaving the house again because the book is open and they're going to the light to like find it, but they don't have brooms anymore, so they like get whatever's in the closet. There's a couple of brooms, and then the last one is on a vacuum cleaner. Classic.
I did like the vacuum cleaner part. That
I
was
also
funny.
really love thinking of just like small little details of the movie. The when the kids are walking towards the sisters in the end, the kid that's in the pumpkin head and his like pajamas and robe, like he fell asleep still in his costume. If you watch, it's like the sea of children that are walking towards the house.
Okay.
And one of them is wearing like a big paper mache pumpkin.
Oh my god.
Like tucked into like a very adult looking robe. Like,
Nice.
it cracks me up every single time.
All right, I'll give it another watch.
It's great.
It's so good. It's so good.
I guess continuing on the theme of 90s movies, I watched Practical Magic for the first
Yes,
time
so
in
did I.
ages.
Last night.
I love that movie.
I thought I had seen it, but I didn't remember anything of it while I was watching it, and I really liked it. And it was so 90s, and their hair and their outfits and everything about it was just
I mean, I
scream
feel like-
90s.
The fact that Sandra Bullock was in it was also just like very 90s.
Yeah.
As a
Wasn't
very young
expecting that.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Very young, yeah. No, I had never seen it either, and like kind of thought maybe I had, but I watched it last night and was like, this is great. How had I never seen this? It's so interesting though, because like, and it makes sense. There are so many of those like tropes you find in all of the different movies with like, even actually with the Olsen twin movies that I was just watching, whenever you have witches, you have like a big old house. It reminded me a lot of Sabrina, the even the 90s Sabrina, like there's aunts involved, there's a big old house. There's like, do I want to be a normal kid or do I want to be a witch?
There's cats.
And then there's cats. There's always cats, usually black. With even we see with like the Sanderson sisters, you can see other sort of like witch tropes and like stereotypes through the years of like the eating the children thing. Like that's been a thing for a really long time. And we see that like when you want to demonize someone, you say that they eat children, and that's like very, also 2000.
Oh, much like the Democrats.
2021, like QAnon.
I get it.
No, but it's like, it's pretty wild. But so Practical Magic, A+. Also, Practical Magic was so interesting because it's also kind of like a Thelma and Louise type story. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like the fact that all of this is happening because a guy was like assaulting a woman, like it was like domestic abuse, and it was self-defense. I feel like, I mean that kind of was explored a little bit in the movie, but I think it would have been treated very differently in 2020.
Yeah.
But like a lot more critically. They said it and like they faulted him for it, but it was interesting. It was like, oh yeah, this was a different era.
Now, if that's a movie they wanted to reboot, I would be on board for all the reasons you mentioned. That, like, I think that same story and a lot of those themes in a modern context, I think would be a movie I would totally like to see.
They should reboot it with the two daughters because Evan Rachel Wood is one of the daughters.
Dude,
she would be the right age.
Recognized her.
I know.
She would. Perfect.
She'd be the right age to do that movie now.
I know.
Put it out in the universe.
Redo
Practical Magic.
Well, the movie came back on my radar because I guess it's the 25th anniversary or something like that of it, 23rd anniversary. Wow. But Nicole Kidman had put it on Instagram, and I saw she's like, "Happy blah 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 anniversary," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I should watch that movie." Margot Martindale is in it, which
so great.
Like. It's so funny watching all of these movies because I also watch Lost Boys, which is so fucking 80s. Like, the way that Practical Magic is so 90s, Lost Boys is so 80s. It's insane.
I wish I had time to go back and watch that one. Maybe I'll do it over this coming weekend, so we could talk about it again during our Halloween party.
Okay.
Worth it.
It is worth it. But yeah, just like, again, so many people are in these movies, and I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of insane. Yeah, no, Practical Magic, definitely 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed watching / maybe rewatching it. I feel like I watched it I don't even know, at some point. But I really liked it. But I like those kinds of movies too. So
me too.
Tropes and all. But yeah, so Lost Boys.
That was another one that I thought I had watched, but once I finally watched it, I really don't think, maybe I saw like a scene of it on YouTube or something, but
I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
I get it confused with like another movie that I can't think of the name, but it's like similar, and I think
there's
has
a lot of
those.
That
like,
time period had so many of those like vampire movies and whatnot.
Oh, and yes, no, and that's interesting. But I wrote this down somewhere because when I listened to our episode from last week, and we were talking about this movie, Amanda says, we're talking about Lost Boys, and she's like, is Rob Lowe in that movie? And I think I said like, oh, probably it was the 80s, and he is not, but there is a poster of him in the younger son's room.
Oh, cool.
Oh. And the younger son, I was thinking of with Rob Lowe. It's probably this other movie that had everybody else in it that is a similar title to The Lost Boys. And I'm sure Matt is like shouting into the ether right now. It's like, oh, it's this movie.
The other one that God had suggested was Fright Night, which I believe is also similar. Like I said, there was on those when I was looking up lists of movies in the 80s and 90s, especially the 80s, there's a lot of like vampire-y type of movies.
You keep talking. I'm going to figure out what this movie was.
Okay, you figure that out while we talk Lost Boys. So the other thing with Lost Boys, it had some really great quotes in it, like the famous ones like "Never grow old and you'll never die," or the one thing about living in Santa Clara. I never liked all those damn vampires. Like those are things like you see quoted everywhere. Also, speaking of everyone being in it, so was this the movie? Jason Patric and Kiefer Sutherland were in it, and didn't they have like that fight over Julia Roberts where she was going to marry one and then ran off with the other?
Oh,
That's definitely a classic like 90s, 80s gossip thing.
The Outsiders.
The Outsiders. I love that book.
Yeah, it was The Outsiders.
Yeah, I love that book. Also, the grandpa from Gilmore Girls is in that movie, and it took me forever to recognize him. It wasn't until the character took his glasses off that I was like, oh.
Well, and you sent us a picture, and I was like, I don't. But you had to give me a clue, and then it was like, oh yes, of course. No, I will say though, I thought it was just really fun too. That's like, I mean, basically supposed to be Santa Cruz. And in like the 70s or 70s, there was a serial killer in Santa Cruz. And like back when, in that period of time when there was a shit ton of serial killers.
The era of serial killers, perhaps?
No, but seriously, I've talked about this with Tasia once. She'll have to remind me why it was. Because there were a lot of serial killers at like the same time. There's something going on.
I believe I've read a theory that... Anyway, we could talk about it when she's here next week too. But I've read a theory about why there were so many serial killers in that. But we don't have to talk about it now. Anyway.
No, but it was. I think they actually filmed a lot in Santa Cruz too. And like the boardwalk and everything. Although I don't think Santa Cruz is quite that happening. Then again, I never go up to Santa Cruz, so maybe it is. But that was just kind of fun to like see. But I don't know, the movie itself, it's like so homoerotic, which I feel like for the time was like really interesting too. And I don't know if that was on purpose, but like the younger brother had his left ear pierced. And like that was, back in the day when that meant something. And then the older brother gets his left ear pierced after he hangs out with the vampires. And his younger brother is like, oh, take that earring out. That's not you. But there's this whole like super like homoerotic thing going on with the vampires. And then the younger brother so in his bedroom, he had a poster of Molly Ringwald. And then I might be wrong, but it was definitely a dude. I'm pretty sure it was Rob Lowe. And it was like him like sort of pulling up his shirt. It was like a pretty erotic poster of him. Mm-hmm. So it was just very interesting that those would be like the two posters in his room.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting like to think about the time also that was coming out, like during like the beginning of like the AIDS scare and everything, and like just the whole idea of like vampires like in blood and just like all of it. I just feel like there's so much there.
There's a lot to unpack with that movie now that I think about it.
I wish I had time to go back and watch it again. Maybe I'll try and do that one too.
It's a fun movie. Like, it's just very campy.
Yeah. Well, it's all
those movies
good,
are
like
so
80s,
campy.
90s vampire movies are campy.
Yeah.
Like, and thinking about this, I was also like, man, I wish I had time to go back and watch Interview with the Vampire. That would have been another good one to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the one thing that I took note, I think we need to like have people write in and like make a tally. So at the end of the day, the song that like, that's playing when it gets saved is the La Cucaracha, da, 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 da. How many movies is that like the song that plays at the climax where like, right? It's like everything. You want to talk about tropes. It still exists today.
Oh my God. There's got to be some like major movie mashup video that just is every time that song
right
is in a movie.
I just thought that when that started playing, I started laughing. I was like, oh my God, this song is everywhere in these But yeah, I'm really glad that I gave it a watch because it was fun. It was a fun watch. It was what I expected it to be. Like it wasn't, it wasn't like a Oscar-winning movie by any means, but it was a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, before we move on to the next movie, we wanted to do
Matt's feedback.
Feedback as we went.
Yes.
Before we get too far away.
All right, I'll do Matt's feedback on Hocus Pocus. Matt said, to be honest, this is a bad movie that only gets loved because it's nostalgic, and it's totally okay to have fond memories of the movie and realize that there is a lot of padding for a 96-minute movie, including having a real-life brother and sister, Penny and Gary Marshall. All right,
their part is great.
Play a married couple.
Superfluous, it's good.
Okay, I thought that was both.
Who was that?
Penny Marshall and Gary Marshall. I knew it was her. I thought that was Gary.
The parents?
Master. So the guy that's dressed up as the devil that's like handing out candy, and they and his wife is all like mad that they're in her house.
Yeah, I thought that was
sister in real life.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. Really,
really weird and kind of funny.
I guess.
Medusa, come on. It's great.
Really, it feels like the Mandela effect where the fans collectively pretend anything not involving Midler, Najimy, and Parker hamming it up doesn't exist in the film. So the Mandela effect, for anyone that doesn't know, is a phenomenon in which a person or a group of people have false or distorted memories. Ooh, that does feel harsh.
Yeah, no, I hard disagree.
I mean, I think that's what's happening with your movie experience of it, Colleen, with your sister. Somebody's having
Yeah, that's definitely happening with us.
But I love this
from seeing the movie.
I love this movie from jump. Like, again, all of those boxes that it ticked off for me. Like, this movie came out when I was like in my prime dress up as a witch every single Halloween phase. Like, no, it's a great movie.
All right,
and it tells a story. Like there's rising action, there's falling action, there's false starts, there's curveballs. Like it does all the things that a story should do.
Which I will say it does more of that than the Lost Boys does. Because like the Lost Boys is a lot more confusing about what's going on and why. Still enjoyed it, but
right, because every action furthers the story. So
anyways, okay.
Also, interesting fact, the director of Hocus Pocus also directed the Thriller music video.
Oh, wow.
Kenny Ortega.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then as Shandy pointed out, Diane Wiest is in Lost Boys and Practical Magic.
Yes. I watched them back to back and I was like, wait a second.
That's so hard to keep your head on straight, I'd imagine. You're like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, because when I watched Practical Magic, I was like, Diane Wiest, what did I just see recently with her in it? And I was trying to remember, and then when you said it, I was like, oh, yeah! All right, quickly moving along. Let's see. Scream. Speaking of 90s movies and early 2000s, I guess we're kind of going in order of what's it called? Chronological order. There we go. Scream. There's not much to say about it, but I think that it would be interesting to talk about Scream in comparison to Freaky, because Scream is early 2000s, late 90s, and
we were in 7th grade when it came out.
So 97, 96.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scream was kind of like kicked off that horror generation for like our age, I guess, in a way, or the mockumentary, mock-you horror kind of thing, like horror and comedy
like
at the same time.
Meta horror.
Meta horror.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Meta horror.
Meta horror. Meta horror. And I feel like Freaky kind of bookends that. So I love Scream. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't necessarily love scary movies, but I love how tongue-in-cheek it is. And, like, yeah.
I agree. It's like a scary movie that I was going into not really knowing what it was, expecting like to be really scared, like a scary movie, but loving it because of all the meta stuff. I love like the meta movie, like, you know, all of that, explaining the genre and like all of that, and watching it happen as they're it's done really well, and I really liked it.
I haven't seen it in ages. I know parts of it would not hold up for 2021 audience, most likely. I kind of do want to rewatch it, though, and before next week and see. Just to kind of, I don't know, just to see, like, because definitely, like, when we've been watching these, like, 90s and 80s movies, it's interesting, like you were talking about, the stuff that actually was a bigger theme than you would have thought or referenced back then versus, like, you know, how it'd be handled differently now. But Freaky, like, is also, it's not so much like meta like that, but it's very much at tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. So Freaky is with Vince Vaughn and the girl who plays Reese Witherspoon's daughter in Big Little Lies.
Oh.
And he's a scary serial killer, and she is a high school girl that is, you know, has that stereotypical, like, unsure of herself, and, you know, her dad, I think her dad passed away, so, like, she's, you know, a single mom and a sister, and she's responsible, and also, you know, struggling with being bullied, but has really good friends, and, you know, it's very stereotypical. And the serial killer thing, you definitely need to suspend your disbelief a little bit for. But at the same time, like, so they end up switching bodies. And Vince Vaughn is, like 6'5", and he has to play, like, it's kind of like Jumanji, the new Jumanjis, where, like, Jack Black is playing a 16-year-old girl, but, like, you know, as Jack Black. So he does an awesome job. It's hilarious, like him pretending to be like a girl in this, like, you know, giant man's body who's a serial killer. And the actress who I'm blanking on her name, like, she does a really good job of playing a serial killer that's discovering, like, what it's like to be a 16-year-old. Yeah. And, you know, it's got all your stereotypical, like, scary movie stuff where she kills people in gross ways. Like, you know, like machetes and chains and bone saws and blah, 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 blah. You know, that part is very, like, it's, you know, people die. They're going to get murdered. It's a scary movie. The end. But it's interesting just the way that certain things are handled. So you have your gay best friend. You have, so the opening sequence where they all get murdered, spoiler alert, but you have to know that they're going to get murdered because it's the opening sequence of a fucking horror movie. And two of the characters are having sex, and she finishes, and then she's like, I'm done. He's like, what about me? And she's like, you're taking too long. It's a vagina, not an all-night buffet. And, like, you know, zips up and walks away. There's a lot of like quippy one-lines like that are very much like that, like, kind of empowering. You know, there's a diverse cast of characters, and it just is, it's interesting just the way that, like, teen movies nowadays kind of address issue, or just, like, kind of encompass things that were not, like, a thing back then. But, and it's also funny because Vince Vaughn is playing a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, it sounds like there's 2 degrees of separation between me and that movie.
That's right. You, Reese Witherspoon, that chick,
the daughter,
and the movie.
Yeah, sorry, I was like,
It's fun. Like, if you like horror movies, scary movies that are
not so scary,
not like The Ring scary, then it's suspenseful. But like with every horror movie, like, you know what's gonna happen. You know somebody's about to get killed, and it's gonna be gross and unbelievable, right? You know.
Well, and when it's unbelievable, it's less scary,
right?
For me, because
I would agree with that.
Right, like,
give me like a crazy monster that's never gonna exist, and, like, I could probably watch that. But you show me something about, like, I don't know, something that could really happen, and that's
give me a Cloverfield monster over,
So
Give
if
me
you,
Pan's Labyrinth. That's terrifying.
Right, right. Over like an intruder.
Yes, exactly.
The call is coming from inside the house. No, no, thank you.
actually, that's I always often think about that. It's pretty scary. And even the opening scene of Scream is kind of scary, too.
It really
It's very scary. It's very scary, and it's really well done. And I think what was crazy, too, about Scream was that Drew Barrymore, like, she was only in that scene.
Yeah.
As, like, for such a big-name actor to, like, literally be just, like, killed off in the opening sequence.
But she's on all the promo pictures. You think of her sometimes before you even think of Neve Campbell.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently that was her idea, that they had offered her the Sydney role, and she was like, "Well, wouldn't it be more fun if I was like this small character in the beginning?" And they created like a whole new spin-off of the genre.
Well, she did good.
Wow.
Yeah, because she was the biggest star. She was the biggest star in that movie, like, you know, at the time. And for her to be like, "Nah, I'm going to be in this one scene because that's really going to be freaking scary," because no one expects the biggest
death to
star in the movie to die in the first scene.
So, 2 quick things of feedback from Matt. He said, as far as Scream, haven't seen this since Craven's death a few years ago, but I was happy to see how well it held up. A clever script that doesn't let the air out of the tension, and a truly great opening sequence that could be a short film. I agree. And then he says, as far as Freaky goes, fun little movie from last year. Always like a good body swapping film, and Vince Vaughn really goes in for it in a way that could have easily been a lame joke. I do recommend it. It's pretty, like, it's a fun movie, like, of that genre. You know, don't go in expecting, you know, like, again, like an Oscar-winning movie, but it's fun, and I think the characters have fun with it, and it has some really good, like, supporting characters, like diverse supporting characters that do a really good job. But yeah, there's a lot of like comedy in it. Moving real quickly. All right, the last 2, I think, big things that we have to talk about would be Coco and Muppet Haunted Mansion. Do you guys want to talk about Muppets Haunted Mansion first?
Sure.
Okay. I watched it twice. I have to say, I liked it a lot better the second time because it was like easier for me to focus. I hadn't been drinking all day with friends, and I wasn't exhausted from being up all weekend. But I still maintain that Kermit's voice is awful.
Oh my god!
He doesn't sound like him.
Critique. Who was that? It was not Kermit.
That's the new Kermit.
I don't like it.
No. I went to look.
They are the Muppets. They're like owned by Disney. They have plenty of money. You can't find a puppeteer that can't do a decent Kermit voice. Like, come on.
I know.
I find that hard to believe.
I agree. I mean, and I tried to look for like articles, like reviews of it, just to kind of read a little bit about it before we did this. And universally, not a single thing I read was like, that Kermit was great. It was all like, that Kermit didn't sound like Kermit.
Yeah, really disappointing. Really took me out of the experience.
Yeah. But at least he was only in it for a little while. I loved Taraji, was great.
Yep.
I feel like they didn't need any of the music, but it's a Muppet thing, so whatever, go off. I liked the cameos in the beginning. It was Alfonso Ribeiro. What's his name? Alfonso Ribeiro. Hold on. Muppets Haunted Mansion cameos. There was more than I actually.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like Pat Sajak was in it. Like
Pat Sajak.
The host from Wheel of Fortune was in it.
Yeah.
What?
Chrissy Metz was a ghost from This Is Us. Ed Asner was a ghost. I didn't realize it was Ed Asner at first. I know. R.I.P. indeed.
R.I.P.
Danny Trejo was Cousin Hewitt.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun when he drops in for a cameo in anything, particularly if it's geared for children.
Yes, because he is so not that kind of guy.
He's so not geared for children.
But it was a lot of fun. Like, it was, I liked it a lot better the second time around. I was like, yeah, this is fun. Will Arnett was great.
Will Arnett was good. Yeah, I liked Will Arnett. I liked the overall message.
Yeah. Face your fears.
Facing your fears. But yeah, I was a little underwhelmed.
I was underwhelmed the first time. I think Jay was underwhelmed because he went to the store midway through it and was like, I'm going to go blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go to Target so I don't have to go later. And I was like, are you sure? We got, still got half the movie. It was like right after the Stamos cameo. I was like, you sure? I was like, yeah.
No, I've already seen Stamos. So
Yeah, right. But I did, again, it was a little underwhelming, but I liked it a lot better the second time. Like, I paid a lot more attention, maybe, or maybe I just knew what was going to happen, so I picked up on more things. But, because I came in to be like, meh. And then after I watched it with the kids, I was like, all right.
It's no Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, nothing will
I think Rizzo is a better sidekick than Pepe the Prawn.
Yeah, what happened to Rizzo?
I don't know.
Rizzo's a much better sidekick. Yeah. And, Pepe the Prawn is somewhat problematic, but...
I don't really understand Pepe the Prawn. Like, they keep seeming to, like, insert him into, like, modern Muppets, and I don't quite understand him.
Yeah. Again, he seems somewhat problematic, and okay.
Yeah.
But...
It's like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. The kids were more scared than I thought. Alex at one point...
Really?
He was scared of the wedding stuff. That part kind of freaked him out a little bit. Where he kept being
I can see how that could be a little intense for a kid.
Yeah, so I'm not, like, because usually with the Muppets, it's good for all ages. Like, kids and grown-ups. I can't quite figure out what ages this is best for.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that would be my one criticism of it. And then as far as Coco goes, Coco is one of my favorite Disney movies. I love it. It's my favorite in recent Disney moviness. It's just so great. It was
really cute. It was really, really sweet.
Did you cry? I still cry. I've seen it a bunch of times and I still cry.
I did. Towards the end, I got really all, like, worked up. It's like I sort of figured out where we were going at a certain point, and I was like, oh, I like where they're going with this. I'm very happy. I hope it was just a very well-made movie. Like, I never really understood the, like, Remember Me out of context, I think is not, like, it's no Let It Go. But in the context of the movie, it suddenly becomes this really beautiful song. Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, I totally didn't understand before, but I get it now. Yeah. This is beautiful.
The music is really good in it, too. Like, nothing, like you said, is memorable, but in context, it really hits home.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lopez's, man. They know how to score a Disney movie.
And all the characters are great, too.
Yeah.
I guess, Coco's one that I'm always down to watch. I'm like, oh, you want to watch a movie? Let's put on Coco. That and Moana, but Zach is still scared of Moana because he's Zach. There's literally nothing scary now for a 7-year-old, but he's still holding tight to that 3-year-old I got scared that one time thing.
It's his Hocus Pocus.
Exactly.
It's his Hocus Pocus.
If he tells the story enough to Alex growing up, then fast forward 30 years and they'll be arguing about which one was scared.
That's a good point. And then I will step in on the text chain and be like, Alex,
yes,
you were in mommy's tummy. You weren't scared. Whereas Zach was scared in mommy's tummy during Captain America 2. And it was visible. During the, some of the scenes in Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, I was pregnant with Zach, and, the bass or whatever disturbed that poor child because I was sick and had to leave because he was moving around so much. He did not like it.
Maybe that's why he's now scared of Moana.
And we talk about that all the time. We're like, oh, you were scared of things from the womb. Your personality was always there. My little baby brave little Zachy, who's not that brave. Anyway, Coco, 1,000,000 thumbs up from me.
Very cute.
I still haven't seen it, and I will definitely put it on my list. I wish that I had.
Yep.
You should.
Thank you to my family that slept in on a Sunday morning so that I could watch it all by myself and just sit there on the couch and kind of cry to myself. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, Shandy, I totally recommend it. It's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie.
it's colorful, it's pretty, it's all about family, and it's very sweet.
And then Matt said, as far as Coco goes, Matt said, I didn't even think of this one, but it does count. We make the rules, so even if you said it didn't count, it would count.
Yeah, we would disagree.
Possibly the most underrated of the top tier Pixar films. One you can go in claiming you know all their tricks, and it won't work on you this time, only to be fighting back tears during Remember Me.
Well.
It's just so beautiful.
It's so cute.
Amanda, did you want to speak quickly to What We Do in the Shadows? Is this something that you think that we should all possibly watch and talk about in the future?
It's super freaking funny. It's super funny.
Okay.
It's good. Daniel and I have now watched the first 2 episodes, so we're not very far into it at all. But it's like a great before bed show, actually, because it's like it is very much a comedy first about vampires. So cool. it's very light, but it's like my type of humor, so I do really appreciate it. It's like mockumentary style, but it's just, I think it's done in a really interesting way. Again, we're only 2 episodes in, so this is based on very, very limited knowledge of the program, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and I definitely do I do want to watch more. So the basic gist is it's like this mockumentary about this, like, I don't know what you call a group of vampires, a coven of vampires. I don't know.
A coven.
But
no,
they live.
It's usually for witches, but
that's usually for true. Yeah. But they live in this big house in Staten Island, and like they've all been like vampires for centuries. So it's like, this very sort of old school idea of like, and how to be in the modern world. And so they don't really understand like a lot of how the real world exists. And like they are put on this quest to conquer the new world. And they're sort of like, they don't know how, because, they're these vampires that are stuck in their century old selves. And it's
I like
just,
it.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
It's very funny.
I just looked it up and saw that it's on Hulu, so I can watch that.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll all watch it. This will be this Halloween's, what was it? Ned and Nora? Nick and Nora?
Dash and Lily.
Dash and Lily.
I might rewatch it this year. Oh, that was the highlight of my holiday viewing. You can keep your princesses.
Season?
I don't know. I sure hope so. But
that would be great. No, it was great. I will say that, and like Norwegian one?
The one that with the subtitles. I need to watch that this year.
Oh, yeah.
I loved that one so much. And there's like 2 seasons.
Or the overdub, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to watch that this year.
Definitely do the subtitles.
Okay. But yeah.
Absolute.
Okay, so yeah, let's all try to watch What We Do in the Shadows over the next week or so. How many episodes are there total, do we know?
10.
I have no idea.
10?
There are 10.
Are they 30 minutes?
They are 28 minutes.
Yeah,
22 minutes.
Okay, that makes it
they felt short enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it doable.
Yeah.
Or let's see.
Do 25 minutes.
Let's see how far we can get, and we'll save Matt's feedback about that till we're done. The other thing he gave feedback about was the Addams Family Value, which we were going to talk about, but I think that all goes. Matt can probably sum it up right now. I watched the first one last year for the first time. Really? Oh, for the first time in a while, and I think it holds up pretty well, too. Interesting to see that despite the macabre, the Addams Family as a unit is mostly pretty healthy. Morticia and Gomez, R.I.P. Raul Julia, could be considered relationship goals, as they are still totally into each other, and whatever they do, they both do it with vigor.
Yeah.
We watched, so I think I mentioned this on a previous show, but Jay and the kids watched that a month or so ago, so it does hold up. Like, they do hold up. I can attest to that. Or they're still good. Like, it wasn't an unpleasant experience to have to rewatch.
In Addams Family 2, when they go to that camp and Wednesday basically like burns the motherfucker down to the ground with the whole like what really happened or she like takes revenge for what happened on Thanksgiving. Do you remember that? They're doing this whole play that's very like, the pilgrims. That scene alone is just so good.
I need to go back and watch it again.
And a little bit maybe before it's time. I feel like speaking of still being good and like aging well.
Maybe all this stuff really was around when we were younger. We just didn't know because we were kids.
Like in smaller doses.
In smaller doses.
Smaller doses. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we got through our movie review. Hooray. If you have any feedback about any movies that you would like to let us know, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com, or give us a call 331-276-2373, or bring your feedback next week to our Halloween episode. We can talk more about movies. Why not? We're probably going to talk about What We Do in the Shadows as far as we each got on it, so hooray.
Great.
And if you can watch Lost Boys, Amanda, I know that's a lot, though.
I will try.
Okay. And Shandy, totally watch Coco. If not to talk about it, just to watch it, because it's so good.
Just to enjoy.
It's just so good.
It's a kid's Disney movie. It's not like, it's not super long in the grand scheme of movies.
Yeah.
It's Again, I watched it while the baby took a nap. And my baby doesn't nap. So there you go.
There you go. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do some feedback. All right, we are back, and we are ready to get into some feedback. Let's start with, what do we got? Matt said, also, since this is episode 616, you have 2 pop culture references you can mention at the top. Ooh, we missed that. Earth 616 is the Marvel Prime Earth comic, Prime Earth in the comics. 616 is also Bloomsday, a reference to the James Joyce's Ulysses, which occurs on June 16th, and has become a holiday for readers for years. The book takes place on June 16th, 1904. Cool.
Huh. Interesting. I knew none of those things.
Me neither. Got said, another movie you should look at discussing is The Last Duel. Maybe for a different episode. The film is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Matt Damon, Jodie Comer, who is, what's her name from Killing Eve, and Adam Driver. It's based in the 1300s and offers 3 different views of events from 3 perspectives. It's a surprisingly relevant look at sexual assault and how it is treated by society and the law.
Oh, I think I heard about that. I think Frank watched it.
I have seen trailers for it, but I didn't realize that's quite what it was about. Scott's description of it actually sounds like a movie I want to watch. Like the trailers I have seen for it, I'm like, meh.
The trailers made me not want to watch it because it looked to me like it was just all like murdering each other.
Yeah, like it just looked like, it's all the girl's fault. She's lying. She's lying about what happened. And it's like, no, I don't want to watch that movie. No, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it either. And then I saw a headline of a review yesterday that said something like today, it was that this is a introspective, interesting look on toxic masculinity, and it's his best film in years. And then I saw Gott's thing, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it is worth a watch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly more intrigued about it now than I was coming into recording this evening. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to get into the That's What She Said.
Jay's into it this year.
This is what I was waiting for an hour and a half ago.
It started on my back and then went down.
Oh my.
I usually get it on my left wrist.
Follow my instructions and see what you can do.
There's still swelling.
Everybody gets something this season.
I can't do it until it's over.
It's not my first choice, but it's refreshing. Side note, did you guys see there was a Trump quote where he was like, and the pee thing? Even Melania was like, oh, I know it's not true because you wouldn't do that.
No.
And I was like, that means it's true. Because anytime Trump ever denies anything, it's always true.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's always projecting. It's always the opposite of what he says.
They're real, baby.
Damn.
I know you are, but what am I?
Bring us the tapes. I hope it goes up now.
I would still do it if I could.
All right, finishing up. We've got an email from Fallon and 2 voicemails. A voicemail from Ro and a voicemail from Maggie.
All right. Fallon's email. I love my Rothies.
Woohoo!
All in caps. I love my Rothies. I have 2 pairs of the not pointy style and plan on 1 more pair so that I need no other work shoes.
Yes, girl, yes.
I've never spent that much on a shoe, but the fact that they are made with recycled water bottles was the motivation I needed to give them a try. And that's all I have to say about that. Heart, Fallon. So I guess I just really went wrong with getting the pointy ones.
Yeah. Because Elena had them at Casa Carbone on the first night of our meetup.
The pointy ones.
No, the non-pointy ones.
Okay.
And she had them in the... So I like the red color of the pointy ones better, but she had the non-pointy ones. The square, maybe it's called. And that red is just fine. So it cemented the fact that I really want to get them.
Okay. Because, yeah, I have the red ones and the pointy, too.
Love that color.
Yeah, me too. But they're too pointy. They pinch my toes.
Yeah. No, they've got 2, the flat and the square, I think it's called. And I think what Elena and I had, and maybe Fallon, is the flat. But yeah, don't get the pointy if you don't have the feet for it. Because, yeah.
I don't, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't.
But, woohoo, Fallon, yay. What colors do you have? I want to know. Let us know. And then we got a voicemail from Ro, and it's called Meetup Thoughts. So take it away, Ro.
Hello, Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. It's Ro from New York. I was just listening to the latest broadcast with the recap of the meetup weekend, and I had a few thoughts, so please forgive my rambling, but I will let loose now. I definitely can agree with what Shandy was talking about in her first meetup, feeling really uncomfortable. My first meetup was the same as Shandy's. It was 2018, and it was great to be with everybody, but I definitely had some awkward moments, including taking a walk and calling a friend of mine crying, thinking, what am I doing here with these strangers? But of course, I got over that pretty quickly. And then in the second meetup, I felt really much more comfortable and a part of the group and was able to let loose a little more. We'll see what happens when I finally make it to my third meetup. Of course, I was really heartbroken not to attend this year, but I know that I made the right decision for me. The other thing that I wanted to remark on that was talked about during the latest broadcast was when Colleen was talking about what a great group of people have been brought together through the Jay and Jack community and through this tradition of yearly meetups, which started way back when in the ice rink, I believe, and have transformed into what they've become. Quite a wonderful weekend, and it's such a delightful group of people. Everyone's so kind, so caring, so generous. The 2 years that I was there, I was chauffeured around by the wonderful Dennis and Mary Ellen, never letting me feel uncomfortable about making me a priority and taking me to the places where we were all going. The other thing I wanted to remark about was something that Colleen did not mention. While everyone in the group is so nice and so kind and so generous and so fun and funny, and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had, she, of course, didn't mention how important Colleen and Jay and Jack and Cindy and Elena and all of the locals are in this event. What Colleen and Jay do by opening their house to all of us and letting us camp out and spend so much time there, even to the detriment of their own sleep and bathroom habits, is just beyond compare. And the local North Carolinians have made this so much better. Sarah and Chip, and as I mentioned previously, Elena and Jack and Cindy have all helped those of us from around the country, and even, I know there have been some Canadians over the years, have such an amazing time. It is greatly appreciated, and I don't know what we would do without all of you. So kudos to you, and thank you times a million, and I cannot wait to see everyone in May. Just let me know when the date is confirmed, because I'm ready to get that airline ticket and make the trip. Anyway, thanks for all that you do. Hope to see you and talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ro, for the kind words. It's all Elena. I get to sit in my comfort zone. Elena's the one that like leaves her house and has to do things. So all the bowing down to Elena. Some people literally camp out.
Yes, some people do.
I did see photos of tents that I don't know if I completely understand the backstory for.
So you know how I live next to
rain, wind.
You know how I live next to Umstead State Park?
Yes.
So John camped there instead of staying at the hotel, and we had this massive rain and thunderstorm on the first night he was there.
Wow, and like all his stuff was okay? He didn't get like all waterlogged?
No, he was good from what I heard.
Yeah. But he sure didn't sleep very well.
No, I can't imagine one does when sleeping in a tent in a rainstorm.
Well, it was the thunder and lightning. Like, I think the rain itself is very soothing. But we had a huge thunderstorm that night, so...
it woke Frank up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were indoors.
Jeez.
Don't worry, my bathroom habits were just fine. I pooped that weekend. It was fine.
And also had a number 3.
I did check. I checked the board, and yes. So I think Gott said on Facebook that there were 2 sides to the whiteboard, and they flipped it over. Yes, the infamous number 3 side that I did right, but it doesn't even look like my handwriting. But it was also at 1:10 in the morning, so I'm assuming a different Colleen took over and wrote that. No idea what I meant, but vaguely remember writing it. So, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you. Mystery solved. I'll have to take a picture and put in the Facebook group.
Nice.
And as far as the date goes, I think we are trying to do it on Gail's birthday.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what, May 13th through 15th, we said?
Yep.
So yeah, May 13th through 15th. So, yeah, barring any, I don't know. We're supposed to have this First Communion, like, parents meeting with the people in November. So I'm assuming that's when they're going to give us all the information, like, about, like, how we do the Sign Up Genius and all that. So maybe don't buy your plane tickets until after I have that meeting. It was actually supposed to be tonight, and I was like, ooh, that sucks. I don't think I'm going to that tonight. And then they canceled it and rescheduled it for someday in November. So...
Nice.
I have to make sure I actually, like, accept the calendar request and go to it so I get the information, if for nothing else other than my grandma, who keeps asking me, and all of you guys. But yeah, no, Rose speaks. It's about the community. Everybody does something. The people that get on the plane that come here, the people that, you know, are gracious enough, like Chip and Sarah were, to lend us their space. The people like Elena and Dan who chauffeur everybody around. Like, you know, it's literally, it's a community event. It's a community thing. Like, all I do is, you know, let people use my house and get really tired and fall asleep nowadays, apparently.
Well, don't undersell yourself. There would be no weekend, I don't think, without what you and Jade bring to the table. So there is that.
Okay, well, I guess that's fair, because we are the venue, the menu. No, I'm just kidding.
The venue, the menu, and the fireball.
And the fireball. Yeah, the venue, the menu, the fireball. All right, we got a voicemail from Maggie. Let's get into that. And I have preloaded it, Maggie, so here we go.
Hey, Amanda, Shandy, and Colleen. It's Maggie calling in to say hello. Hope everybody's recovered from Raleigh. It now seems the Raleigh weekend. It seems very far away from far away now, but it was tons of fun, and I can't wait till May. Amanda, we missed you. Amanda, I've been meaning to call in and say thank you for talking about warming up breast milk in like a Pyrex. Right after you said that on the show, I was babysitting for a 2-month-old, and he was very hungry, and I was like, I didn't know how to use a bottle warmer, and I was like, I can use a Pyrex. So yeah.
Nice. I got you, girl.
I am very excited to hear about what Colleen thinks about Hocus Pocus. I love Hocus Pocus. It's a fun, campy movie, and I'm super excited for Hocus Pocus 2 because I'll just watch Bette Midler and Kathy and Jimmy and Sarah Jessica Parker be those characters. They're amazing.
Oh my God! Spoiler. Cutting in the Mandela effect that Matt talked about. Ah. Okay. Resume.
Winifred, Mary, and Sarah are awesome, and I just think they're the best. Muppets Haunted Mansion was fine. It wasn't super great. Wasn't really awful. It was just fun. That's all about it for the Halloween movies. I don't like to be scared. So I don't like scary movies. So there we go. And last, leave you with, I have a Marry, Fuck, Kill for you. So Ted Lasso edition. So Marry, Fuck, Kill. I've got two of them actually. So it's Ted, Roy, or Trent Krim from The Independent. So Marry, Fuck, Kill those three. And then Marry, Fuck, Kill Ted, Nate, and we'll say Beard. I'll just throw a fun one in there. So yeah. I'm rewatching Ted Lasso with friends, and it's really fun. They don't mind spoilers, so I have told them to watch Nate. That's all I've told them about the second season so far, because I don't like to spoil people on things. So, hope you ladies are doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I will say, with Fuck, Marry...
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
With Fuck, Marry, Kill, I sometimes have a hard time because, Mary is the person that you would get to fuck then for a longer period of time.
Well, that's the whole point. Who you want a one-night stand with versus who you want to fuck for forever-ish.
Okay.
Long-term.
Okay.
Long-term. Yeah. Long-term fucking versus one night of passion.
Okay. So she said Ted, Roy, and Trent.
Are the first ones, yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of tough.
I think I got it.
Okay, go.
Okay.
I'm going to kill Ted. I'm going to fuck Trent, and I'm going to marry Roy.
Nice. I like it.
Nice. I don't know. I feel like you have to kill Trent because he's the most disposable. If you marry Ted, you get those delicious biscuits all the time.
That's a spectacular.
Yeah, but then you also have to...
You have to deal with Ted's Tedness all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to fuck him for the rest of forever.
But don't forget, Sassy Smurf said that he was real good.
Exactly.
Eager to please.
Eager to please.
Yeah, eager to please. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's true.
No, but that could also get annoying, too, if you're just... All right, let's do this quick.
Yeah.
Amanda, what about you? I like Shandy's for that.
I feel like I kind of gave mine.
Okay, you did. I got to take my
faulty logic, but
I'm going to take my second one into consideration as well and think maybe I do. Yeah, marry Ted. No, kill Ted, marry Roy, fuck Trent. Yes. But for the second one, I feel like we all might want to kill Nate.
Yes.
But I wonder.
The second one was Nate,
Ted, and Beard.
Roy, and
Nate, Ted, and Beard.
Nate, Ted, and Beard? Oh, interesting.
Beard.
Fuck Ted, marry Beard, kill Nate.
See,
yeah, I would agree with that.
I would agree with that too, but can you cure incel by just simply fucking Nate?
No, because it's not about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never about that.
Then we're all on the
Goes
same
deeper
page.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Maggie. And then we'll finish this up with a quick update from Andy.
All right. Andy writes in, these weeks in Andy's virginity. Hey, broads. Well, I was really hoping to bring you some good news, but as of right now, things are a little up in the air. A few weeks ago, I matched with someone on a dating site, and we got to talking. Her screen name on the site was a reference I got, and it was a decent icebreaker, and it led to more back and forth conversations, even off the app's messenger function. I try to temper my reactions to any type of success on these apps since things can fall through quickly and without any explanation. Looks like the fickle nature of modern dating may have struck again since I haven't heard from her in a few days. I'll try reaching out again and give it a day or two before calling it, but I'm not feeling terribly optimistic at this point about this one.
I'm sorry, Andy.
Hey, but at least it was a conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
While this isn't the news I've wanted to give you, it is the first bit of something in a long time. Since the before times, both in actual time and how much longer time feels during the pandemic. And of course, we were only talking briefly and didn't define anything about what we were, and maybe she was talking to someone else who was really clicking. Maybe we'll find out, maybe we won't. For now, I'll take the small victory of something happening in the new normal and see where it goes from there. Hashtag 5 years with hers, Andy. I think that's a great way to take it.
That is a good outlook.
Andy, you never cease to amaze me with the mature, thoughtful reactions that you have to things.
Hear, hear.
And I know that someday, the right woman for you is going to also be just as impressed with it. Because you really, it's really nice to see, to read, to hear.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, though, for the update, as always, and we look forward to your next one. Thank you to Fallon and Maggie and Ro for their feedback as well. If you have any feedback, you can email us, thebroadcasters3@gmail.com, or give us a call, 331-276-2373. We appreciate it, as always. Thank you to the patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/jayandjack, or go to jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link on the top right-hand corner of the page. Thank you to the patrons, that especially the ones that contribute at a certain level, and that would be Eckhart, Rickner, Tack from Tokyo, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy Mailman. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. As always, all the patrons. We have a patron bonus episode out now for the month. So if you'd like to hear some of the stuff that got cut out of our episodes, if you're a patron, you can refresh your patron's bonus feed. And if not, you can become a patron and hear it. Woohoo! Yeah, thank you, though. Hope you'll join us next week over Zoom. Like I said, same link as we always use for our Halloween episode. Bring your scary stories. Our Halloween episode is the episode where we do scary stories. So come with them. Tasia, I'm talking to you. Anybody wants to rise to Tasia's real-life ghost story challenges, do it. Do it. And if you don't want to do it in person, email us or voicemail us, because honestly, it's my favorite show where I compile all that stuff together. I know it's hit or miss if it's real or not, but it's really fun to read. If you've seen any of the movies we talked about this week, definitely give us your feedback about that as well. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit next week too. Anyway, on that note, thanks again for listening. My name is Colleen.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Shandy.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Ooh.